to Plaka. Plaka is one of the oldest neighborhoods here in Athens and is one of the best places to sort of spend either the morning or the afternoon exploring. There's lots to see, particularly with architecture in this neighborhood. It's also great for shopping, and you get views of the Acropolis all along your walk. So I'm gonna spend a couple of hours here. I'm gonna walk around, show you some of my favorite spots in this beautiful neighborhood. Because it is the winter time, it is a lot less crowded than it normally is down here. Normally there are tons of tourists walking down here because all of these shops are usually open. Because it's the winter, some are open less hours than they normally are. Obviously there's a school here, and I believe I've walked past this before, and it's one of the oldest schools here in Athens. So I just walked past the sign and it says it is the oldest public school, known public school in Athens. As you can see the Acropolis Hill from here. This is actually a really great street in the spring to walk down because you see this bush that's hanging over this entrance to the house. In the spring it blooms and it is beautiful wisteria. And it gets really full and purple. It's gorgeous, and people come and take photos, so just be mindful that it is someone's house if you do that. There are a few things that you can see here in Plaka that are historic. There is the oldest house in Athens. I did walk by it earlier, but it's closed. I think a lot of things in the winter are not open as many hours, so that's something you want to check if you're coming down here. I can show you the back of it though. This house over here is the oldest house in Athens, and it's been restored inside. It's great. And this is like the back garden of it, which I think they're doing some digs. It is not one of the public museums though, so it is not one of the ones that if it's a free day you could get into. I do believe that it is a donation, so whatever you want to give to get in. A museum down here. It's the Museum of Greek Folk Art. It is the old public baths. Unfortunately, it is not also open, and I've never been inside because every time I come, it's not open, even though the sign says it should be open. Sort of down here on the end of Plaka is the Roman Agora, and this tower that you're seeing right in front of you is the Tower of the Winds. Definitely worth coming to. This is not the ancient Agora, but it is separate from that, but there's definitely some cool things to see. Before I explore more, I am going to go have a little coffee and slash brunch snack at one of my favorite places to go here in Plaka. It's called Yasemi, which is jasmine in Greek. And it is on the famous Plaka stairs. And you will find that all year round, Greeks and tourists alike will come here and sit and have coffee. And it is very popular in the summer, as you can imagine. It should be pretty quiet today though. Spaces on the stairs with an actual table, which even in the winter is not kind of surprising because so many people come here. So I'm sitting inside, which it doesn't really matter because as you can see, it's still super sunny, and they have like a whole section on the other side as well. So there's plenty of places to sit, and I'm just gonna get some like a breakfast and a coffee. I'm not getting anything elaborate. That was exactly what I needed. Just needed a little snack to keep going and some more coffee. Not only is it one of the most architecturally interesting areas, you'll also see that it's probably one of the most colorful parts of Athens as well. All of the houses are painted usually these bright pastel colors. Yeah, I know, bright pastel, but it's bright. And I love this one. I love the really old wooden shutters. They're fabulous. And more views of the Acropolis Hill. If you have ever been here and heard about the elevator, if you see that over there, that is the elevator, and it sort of drops down the side. They do reserve it for people who need it, so you can't just take the elevator if you are able-bodied. Look at this. Look at this house with the lemon tree. Look at all those lemons. Looks fabulous. As you can see, there's lots of places to eat over here in Plaka. Much like the Greek islands, sometimes in winter is when construction tends to happen in these neighborhoods, because it's the only time they can get stuff done without it totally interrupting like the walkways. So sometimes you'll see that in winter, and because Athens is ancient, sometimes it takes way longer than you expect because they find things that they weren't expecting. So the best thing you can do is just walk down one street and turn and go up another, because Plaka sort of works its way up towards the Acropolis Hill, and so you just go up and down and up and, well, up, and then eventually go down. The further you get up, the less and less there is to see and do in terms of like cafes and shops. It's mostly just to see the old houses. You won't find a lot of these houses in the rest of Athens because they've been torn down to build apartment blocks. This is also a museum. It is the old University of Athens. The building has obviously been restored. Part of the reason I'm not going into any of the museums that are open today is because, as I have discovered, they don't let me film inside. So I don't really want to pay to get in at this point when I can't film inside to show you guys. I probably will visit them on my own, but not when I'm filming. Here's the best thing about Plaka. The views. The views are amazing. I'm now going to take you to sort of a special place within Plaka, a neighborhood in a neighborhood, if you would. It is the neighborhood of Anafiotika. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I've practiced. It was built by workers from the island of Anafi who came to work on the palace for King Otto, and so the architecture is very similar in nature, and it has these windy areas like it does on the island. So let's go check it out. I actually met someone last fall who lives in here. I don't know exactly where, obviously. We just met through mutual friends and had dinner together. And I'm sort of curious to know what it's like to live up here. Because Plaka is hard enough, let alone up here. You can see that there's no way cars can get in here. In fact, if you noticed, there is a barrel there blocking cars from coming through, because otherwise this place would be bombarded with people. And they have signs up everywhere asking people to be quiet and to not trespass. Thankfully, I'm here in the winter, so hopefully me alone will not make that much noise. It's so quiet up here. I wish I had this level of quiet in my neighborhood. And look at this. Okay, these people have a stunning view of Acropolis Hill. Wow. And listen, you can barely even hear the city below you. So a lot of these houses were built in the 1850s, so they're a little rundown, some of them. Not all of them. A lot of them have been well maintained, but some have not. As you can see, it is twisty and windy, and now it's a decision of which way to go. I think I'm gonna go this way. I'll probably have to walk back this way, and this area is filled with kitty cats. Guys, I made a friend, and I don't even have any food to give it. It is definitely not abiding by the fact that it needs to be quiet, because it came at me and started doing that. Okay, this is even more narrow than some of the Greek island horrors that I've been in. It's very, very narrow. And here is another kitty cat. This one is a giant fluffy cat. I'm sorry, I'm in its way. Believe it or not, I don't pet them all because sometimes they can be a little bit persnickety. amazing. So I've reached the top of the neighborhood and you're basically on Acropolis Hill now. I was gonna walk down that way, but there's a giant puddle. And I think if I go that way, I'm gonna miss some of the other houses. So I'm gonna walk back down through where I came from and see what else I can see. And of course, we have more kitty cats. We're going past the little blue and yellow house now, because I think this is the best way to go in further without invading anyone's privacy. Yes. So, a little bit less narrow, but still really narrow. This definitely feels like a Greek island. It would be even more if it was sunnier. Look at that. I see a house someone could renovate. It's interesting that some of them seem to have been really well renovated and taken care of, and then some of them are just falling down. I'm sure it's because families just don't want to take care of them anymore, and I would imagine that up here it's very difficult. And now I'm going to go down these treacherous stairs. And that is pretty much it for Anafiotika. It's very small. This is a little secret area that I really like because not only is it stunningly beautiful, as you can see, but you see that little fenced-in area? There is a little secret in there. Like I say in Athens, you can run into archaeological sites all over this city that you didn't know existed unless you just got lost. I discovered this one day, and I believe, there's no sign, but I believe it's part of the old city wall. So, really cool. Now we're down in the very central souvenir shopping area, and there's lots of great places here. However, you know, watch yourself in negotiating prices and things, and shop around when you come down here, so that way you get to compare prices. And I'm going to take you to my favorite place where you probably don't have to worry about the prices. It's called Flaneur, and it is one of my favorite places to buy things for people when either they've come to Greece and I want to give them something, or I'm taking something home. I even buy stuff for myself there. They have great things for everyday use. So it is off that main street over here where the wisteria is. I will link to it in the description box so you know where it is. And this is it. They have some of the best souvenirs that you are not going to find in the other shops, and some of my favorite things in here are the jewelry and the soaps. So I love this brand of soap. You can actually get it in Tinos, but this is the first place that I was actually able to buy it. They obviously have gorgeous pottery things and some beautiful jewelry. And today I'm going to buy a Greek book that's been translated into English. I also really love these things. Little pouches that have donkeys and cats, and all of these things, most of the artists are Greek or they have made their things here in Greece. What I really like is they have a really great selection of books about Athens in English as well as in Greek. I've actually bought this one. This is really great. This is it in Greek. So they have songs about Greek, different books on like portraiture and things, and they have great posters. If you keep walking down this road, there are more shops. As you can see, there is a archaeological site up here on the right as well. If you walk down a little bit further, there's this little area with this tower that I've actually never stopped to look at and see what it is. So let's see what it is. It's a monument. I'm not even gonna try to say that. Okay, so it's part of an ancient street and it's a monument and probably built in the 5th century BC. I will tell you that this sign says it was built in 334 to 333 BC. So 4th, 5th century, you know, one of those centuries. It's really old. The great thing about Plaka is that you can stay in this neighborhood. There are lots of hotels that are definitely good value for your money, particularly given your location. I will link to the ones that I recommend down in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Plaka. If you're coming to Athens, I highly recommend that you just walk around Plaka, get lost a few times. It's the best way to find the most hidden gems in the neighborhood. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.